How do I retire? When do I retire? I'm never retiring from To The Point. But you know who's here to retire on a 1 day contract? Right there. Turn on your camera.
Didn't we do this last time? All
Maybe.
right.
The one and only Skip is back after his multiple retirement from To The
Right,
Point.
right.
But he is back. Skip, what's up, brother?
Oh, not much, not much. Just enjoying this ridiculous weather we've been having lately.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Let's all retire from this weather. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now, just know that you are locked in onto the point with, let's do it,
Yep.
and the king. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it's called. YouTube, which is hopefully where you're watching us. Make sure you click subscribe, click like, leave some comments. You know, we're always here for you. We've been doing it for so many years. So, speaking of retirements, Skip, what t-shirt are you wearing?
You know it. La 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 Lowry.
Halo coming back for 1 day contract to retire as a Toronto Raptor.
What are you pointing at?
The Raptors
The the
jersey
CB the CB4 jersey?
and shit. Yeah. Anyway, oh, but Skip, I gotta ask you. This is why you are here. How do you
Yep.
feel about Kyle Lowry rejoining the your Toronto Raptors to retire as a Raptor? And you better say something good because you're wearing the fucking shirt.
Yeah, I mean it was entirely expected, right? I mean, he's been saying this for several years that he wanted to come back to Toronto and retire as a Raptor. It's all kind of pomp and ceremony and circumstance, but I thought they did a really good job of having fun with it, especially with Kawhi showing up. Of course, that was
Oh, we'll
that
get
was a
into
nice
that.
little touch. We'll get into that. But just kind of the whole vibe. It was very relaxed, very laid back, very just, we said we are going to do this. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. I thought it was cool they're going to actually officially retire the jersey. I don't know if that had been stated before. Um, but we always knew he was going to, there were dreams that he would come back for a year or whatever. But really, this was always what was in the cards. Just this sort of ceremonial going out as a Raptor, wear the cap and we'll talk about if he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but it's sort of like, what are you remembered as? You're remembered as a Raptor. So yeah, I mean, I think it was cute. It was fun. I enjoyed watching the press conference. I'm not going to put too much more thought into it beyond that, but I thought for what it was, we had a lot of fun with it.
I know you would have been happy because you were here at my place when the Raptors won the championship, and we all
Yep.
sang "Oh Canada." Art, do we have that clip? I don't know if you want to pull it up, but we all did.
I don't know if
And
I wanted either.
Skip was so happy. He was so elated with Kyle Lowry being an NBA champion. He mentioned it a lot. I honestly, I'm happy. And you know, I'm not a Raptors fan, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think it's really, really good that he did retire as a Raptor, did pay his loyalty and his respect. Now, Skip, I gotta ask you, because I've said multiple times on this stream when you were around all the time, when you're doing this full time with me, that Kyle Lowry is the engine that keeps the Raptors going. Now, can I ask you? And remember my boy Keith that was here for my birthday a couple years ago, wearing the jersey that said "GROAT," the
Mm-hmm.
greatest
Mm-hmm.
Raptor of all time. Can we now collectively in the Raptor sphere can say that Hal Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time? Please.
I think Kyle is the greatest Raptor of all time up to the present day. I don't know if that's what of all time really means. I think
Yeah,
he's absolutely
these kids throw that term out like so. Anyway, go ahead.
well, yeah, I mean, greatest of all time. Yeah, sure. The greatest Raptor of the last 25 years. Sure. I think that's totally fair. I think there's been a lot of talk about it. I mean, quite literally, you look at his basketball reference page, he has the most win shares of any Raptor of all time. He has the second most games of any Raptor of all time. Like, the numbers are there for him to be, the longevity, the sustained level of success, the playoff wins. I think he definitely has the claim to it. Now, all that said, I think he's had a terrific career, and it's mostly going to be remembered as a Raptor. But I was actually kind of surprised, and obviously I wasn't thinking about it too much. But when I heard this, he said this 20-year career, and nine of them were with the Raptors. So actually, it was less than half his career was spent in Toronto, which kind of blew me away. And when I heard that number nine, I mean, nine is a really, really good career with one team. But it's not Kobe, it's not Dirk, it's not,
Tim
one of
Duncan.
these guys. Yeah, it's not Tim Duncan. It's a really good career. The bulk of that career is with one team. And let's face it, the Raptors are a younger franchise. That qualifies as the greatest Raptor of all time right now. We all know I'm a big Jays fan, and I kind of look back at these
Really?
relative
We had
things
no idea.
in I look back relative to like baseball, right? And you'll be like, oh, Vernon Wells was one of the best Blue Jays of all time versus, a Derek Jeter or something, right? And obviously, Lowry will go down in history as probably the point guard of, the Raptors history for the next 20 years. But that said, there's still lots of time for a guy like Scottie to pass him. Maybe even Kawhi, if Kawhi somehow, if this trade goes through and he puts together a couple more
We'll get
championships
into that,
somehow.
Skip.
Yeah, I mean that's a big if. But definitely up to this moment, I think he's laid claim, and it's great to see him go out on those terms with everybody sort of saying,
Thank
"Hey, like this is who you are. We're going to memorialize you for what you did and where you stand in the franchise today."
you. You know what? I will concede and say that Lowry, yes, the greatest Raptor of all time, because he put up through all the bullshit that went around the outside and the inside on his team, stuck around, got the championship, right? He he never gave up in the presser. I don't know if you guys seen, but he did say it's not just a city, it's a country that he was playing for. And him being from Philly, right? For him to come here and to have his kids here, and to 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 to, to show that much appreciation to us, oh Canada, right? And to show that much appreciation to the city of Toronto, and having his choice to retire as a Raptor, facilitated by Bobby Webster. I think this proves um, Kyle Lowry's grit, his tenacity, his fight, the dog that he had in him, and what he brought here for Toronto, right? It's not just Kawhi, it wasn't just Pascal, it wasn't just OG, it wasn't just Boucher, it wasn't Powell, it wasn't just Van Vliet, it wasn't just all those guys. He was the engine that kept it going. And the best part is to see people smile, and especially at the time when the Raptors won the championship, to see you and all the other people I had here in my place watching the game, right? To smile and enjoy what Kyle Lowry was a major, major part of for the Toronto Raptors. Now, Skip, we all know Vince Carter.
Hmm.
He's hanging up in the rafters for the Raptors, right? We all know that. By the way, yeah, my mom's other son, yes, he did paint that picture that's hanging up in there. Yeah, he didn't get me tickets for that game. But now Kyle Lowry is going to be placed up there in the rafters. And also pending, we'll get into this in a bit, Kawhi Leonard coming back to the Toronto Raptors, being reattained. There's a lot of legal issues there. We'll get into that. But to show that the Toronto Raptors fan base is kind of forgiving, does this show that, yeah, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question. Does this show that the Toronto Raptors fan base should be respected? And does this also show that the Raptors organization is willing to pay homage despite the discrepancies and despite the bullshit that happened? Are they willing to pay homage to those that helped elevate the Toronto Raptors? Yeah, I messed you up on that, bro.
That's an interesting question, actually. All this stuff about fan base should be respected. We hear this narrative a lot, and I've never put much stock in it. I mean, fan base is, it's a good fan base when the team's good, but give us 10 years of losing, and we may not have the same, quality of fan base, so to speak. That said, I think the press conference, I mentioned the press conference earlier and how interesting I thought that was. I think there was something to that press conference that was unusual, that was interesting, that was really, basically Kawhi being there, but also like just the vibes with Larry Tannenbaum, the vibes with the media. You could tell there was just a different tenor in that room. It wasn't just another, we're calling a presser to announce a player that we just signed, very formal, very. It was a lot more love. It was a lot more jovial, a lot more like, let's look around the room and see the people in this room that have brought us to where we got good, what we accomplished, what we've done over the years. It was a completely different vibe in that room, I think. And I think that is interesting. I don't know if it's important. I think it's interesting that they're doing a lot more self-reflection in that way. And it's almost like letting their hair down a little bit and being a little less buttoned up and professional about the whole thing. I mean, that could break either way, obviously, but I think it's important that they did it that way, and I found it really enjoyable to watch. I was sort of expecting kind of just another press conference. You roll your eyes, it's like, great, he's in the Raptors now. But no, it seemed a little more, a little deeper, and they're really leaning into like, this is the franchise, this is our franchise, this is what the franchise means to us, and I think that's important.
Keep going. You're spitting fire.
Yeah, I mean that's about all I had to say. I mean, just I really think that press conference had a different angle, which made me think that they're really trying to lean into promoting the organization as this
That's what I
place
was
that people
asking you.
want to play, people want to come back to, this big house mentality, this warm and fuzzies. So yeah, I think that was really interesting. As far as the fan base itself goes, I mean, I think the fan base, yes, we have a great fan base, but it's like any fan base. The fair weathers are going to go away when the team's bad. When the team's good for a while, you get the corporate types. This happens in every major city. This happens in New York. This happens in LA too. So, I'm not too torn up about that. I mean, the fans are going to be there when the fans are there. But I thought it was interesting that the tone the organization is taking with itself.
I thought it was a good sight to see for the Toronto Raptors organization to show that despite the issues that they've had with former players, to show that they are still welcome here and to show that they will still be given the love, right?
Hmm.
Even though Lowry didn't have any problems with the Raptors, he did at first, but to show that, especially after, here's now my next question, Skip. They did allude a couple times, Bobby did, and so did Kyle, about the possibility of his best friend coming back. Like you coming back to the point. Do you see the possibility of DeMar DeRozan. By the way, that painting in the Scotiabank Center, yeah, my brother painted that one too. Of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Well, Lowry ain't gonna play, but DeRozan coming back. Seeing how well the Raptors organization has treated Vince, Kyle,
Mhm.
even Junkyard Dog back in the day, right? Like treating a lot of players like that. Can you see number 10 returning?
I've thought about it a lot. I
And did it
think
keep you up at night?
well, I don't know about that, but there was an interesting tidbit in the Lowry presser where he just said something like, "Tomorrow will be here the day that my jersey hangs in the rafters,"
For sure.
and people were kind of raising their eyebrows, like that's an interesting statement because he's going to be on a team, and that team might not be playing in Toronto.
Yep.
Now, obviously, that said, he's been waived by the Kings, or it's been announced he's getting waived by the Kings. I don't think it's
Yeah.
been processed yet.
And he's gonna go
Um,
for a veteran contract. But
well, but that's the thing. So Toronto can only offer the very vet minimum. Now, been some talk about Toronto. There's been some talk about Miami. There's been some talk about a few teams around the league that might actually be able to use him on like something closer to the mid-level. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know Toronto is not going to be able to offer the most money. So
the
it's going to
minimum
be
is
absolutely a question.
3.2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not even about the dollars though. It's about how it fits against the hard cap and
Yeah.
it gets very convoluted very fast. So they basically have one veteran minimum to offer left. And if that goes to DeRozan, that'd be great. That'd be interesting. That said, there's probably going to be some other teams that can offer him more money, even though he's on the downside of his career. I'm not exactly sure how the salary prorates and stuff like that. But the other aspect of this is the fit, right? The fit isn't the
Doesn't
cleats.
fit.
Now, do I think DeRozan would help this team? I think if you sit DeMar down in a room and you say, you're our sixth man, you're going to come in, you're
Six.
going to get some buckets off the bench, and he signs off on that on a veteran's minimum, sure, sure. Like, but you can't bring him in and you can't expect him to start. Um, and the other issue is, I mean, this team can't shoot threes. They haven't been able to shoot threes for years, and DeMar doesn't fix that. Um, but at the same time, I mean, if you're just trying to get the most talent in the room, bringing DeMar in is kind of just like you didn't trade Brandon Ingram. You have Brandon Ingram still in the house, right? So, I think it's a bit of a long shot. I don't think it's impossible. I just think warm and fuzzy aside, I think someone will offer him a few more dollars, and he's just gonna do that. But I wouldn't rule it out entirely until he signs somewhere,
You know what, Skip?
and until the Kawhi thing gets dealt with. But
That's where I was going. So he's the guy that the Raptors got rid of to get Kawhi bars. Write that
yeah,
down. In order to win the championship. So he was the
yeah,
odd man out, which
of
did
course, yeah.
bother Lowry a little bit, right? We will say that, and we know it bothered him. Because remember, we worked at a place where we cooked for DeRozan and Lowry. And
I don't remember DeRozan. I definitely remember
I
Lowry.
remembered him.
All right.
But yeah. But besides that, for him to have to come back to a team with the guy that
Hmm.
got them the
Yeah,
championship,
it's interesting and it's awkward.
but but
Yeah.
but he might have to come back because as of today, as of this recording, Skip, we're hearing that there is a possibility that that trade might not go through for Kawhi due
Hmm.
to the investigations of Steve Ballmer's 60-something million dollar fake company that didn't pull in money in order to pay Kawhi 20-something million to keep them under the tax. Now, Skip, this is the last question I'm going to ask you for the night. Right? Do you think they can bypass that and keep Kawhi? Or do you think this shit's gonna go to like, I don't know, whatever freaking Supreme Court the states have or whatever Adam Silver wants to say. Because
Before I
to me,
answer,
this shit sounds real fishy. But go on.
before I answer, I just gotta say it was interesting to hear Kyle Lowry say Kawhi's only aspiration is to win a championship, and everyone in the chat was popping up on that one. Um, yeah, I think the trade will go through. I think this is an interesting snafu. Uh, I haven't heard at this point that anyone's planning to scuttle it. Now that said, it does depend on the sanctions, right? If the sanctions are the contracts gets voided, that obviously messes everything up. If the sanctions are the Clippers lose a first round pick a couple years down the road, then probably the trade goes through as is. I would say 75% chance it goes through as is, and like a 20% chance that there's a small change, and then like a 5% chance that it's completely voided. I think we've come too far. I don't think it will, unless the most extreme punishment is meted out. I don't think the trade's going to be thrown out. I just think there may be some delays, there may be some minor tweaks to adjust for whatever the punishment is.
Yeah.
But right now, it just sounds like it's a waiting game. It sounds like they just need to close the file basically and just say this is what you have to do, and everything's in a holding pattern until then. The question then becomes like, how long are we waiting? Are we waiting another day or two?
Exactly.
Are we waiting another week? Are we waiting until training camp? Because I don't think we want to be waiting till training camp. I think
Nope.
maybe, yeah, we can wait till next Tuesday, maybe. I think there's a board of governors
See you
meeting
next
in
Tuesday.
about,
Anyway.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I by and large I still think the trade will go through. It will be interesting to see if there's any time for things to get aggregated, some cap space to be opened up, someone to be rerouted to another team. But by and large, I think the trade will go through as is.
I agree with you. I think the trade will go through. I just think like my initial thought. You guys go check our last video with Beyond the Locker Room. I just thought it might have been Kawhi having to leave the situation based on the allegations
Right.
that happened, and he might want to distance himself for it. And how much further than you could go from LA in the NBA, but come to Toronto?
Well, there's
Right?
a lot of
I
people mad on Twitter that or X, I should say, that the Raptors hadn't sorted this out before the trade, right? And there was a lot of like everyone's like, we assumed that the Raptors knew what the results were before they agreed to this trade, and now it's coming out that they're waiting on the results of the investigation. So there's a lot of there's some criticism of the front office on that front. And I thought it was interesting, another little tweak from Lowry's press conference, right?
what?
Lowry sits down in the chair and he says something about them going after Kawhi, and Bobby Webster like shoots out of his chair and leaves immediately. And I was like, okay, I like
I,
this is
yeah,
all
yeah,
still
yeah. But
real under wraps.
Bobby played it off like, no, no, you can talk,
No,
and he
I
just
know.
did. And I was
It
like, wait,
was
what?
it was interesting timing. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, the timing was a
And
little sus.
but of course, like he can't officially comment on anything until it's gone through. But the fact that that was a couple days ago and now it hasn't gone through, and Kawhi was at that press conference, it's a very weird kind of balance we're striking right here, where typically, yes, stuff gets delayed 24 hours in the NBA because of like deadlines and
This
stuff
and
like
that,
that.
and health
But
issues,
this,
and yeah,
but this is now like this is becoming
it's been
a
days.
thing. Yeah,
It's been days since last week,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, Skip. Now, before I bury you again, hit you over the back of the head with a shovel and
Well, that's
dig up your
that's enough
grave
of
and
that.
retire your ass, or I'll just wheel you around in a wheelchair, right?
Hmm.
Uh, do you have anything you want to say? And by the way, can I say this, guys? I'm going to say it. Anybody don't like it? Um, Skip to do the last two episodes. This is more than what you deserve. what you need out there. This right here, my man,
Yeah, right.
right there. Wait, point at you this way or this way? I don't know which way to count. Anyway, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
It
But
might flip in post production anyway.
yeah, whatever. We'll talk to our tourists about that. But Skip, anything else you got to say?
I don't have too many parting shots. I mean, it's again,
Too
it's
many? You
nice.
always have like 15. Give us
It's
one.
it's it's
Fuck's
nice
sake.
to see Lowry get the send off he deserves. And I am curious again, like we kind of touched on already, but the DeRozan idea. I am curious, are we looking at Lowry comes to one game next year, hangs his jersey, and sits at home, or are we talking about a guy who's interested in being around the team at all? And maybe not as an assistant coach, but just sort of around the facilities, sort of floating around,
He said he
being in
would.
touch with guys. So that'll be kind of like the proofs in the pudding, right? Because then, if you get Kawhi and DeRozan in the building or something, or even JV, right? There's this talk JV got waived.
Shout out our
And if he
tourists.
doesn't go back to Europe, if he doesn't go back to Europe, which he's probably going to go back to Europe, but if he doesn't go back to Europe, I think Toronto's a real interesting landing spot. And then, you start to get into all this sort of warm and fuzzy. We're throwing it back. We're bringing in all these old familiar faces, and that can be
Nostalgia.
dangerous too. That nostalgia play can be dangerous too because sometimes that doesn't lead to results on the court where you need younger players who can actually get the job done. But I think that's where I'd be wondering about this sort of vibes that we got from that press conference. Is there going to be another former player brought in the fold? Is Lowry going to be involved post-playing career? Or is this just sort of, we had a ceremony, it's cool, and then we go back to playing basketball. So that's the only thing I wonder in the aftermath of that presser. Other than that, I think Lowry got his due, and then we'd switch the page to Kawhi once again, right? So
Go from 7 to 2. Skip, thank you. Show that shirt, man, before we get out of here while I do the outro.
oh
You
yeah, I
guys.
got spin
Oh,
around here.
yeah. You guys, thank you for enjoying us. Thank you for enjoying Skip. Skip was actually excited about this one, even though he delayed. Skip was actually excited about this one,
I'm
and I'm
excited
glad
about
that
all of
he's
them,
here.
Brian. Let's say that.
Fuck up. But let's just say that we're happy that you guys are here to see Skip and hear his points. Um, and you guys out there, thank you for joining us. Skip, plug your shit.
What happened? Oh yeah,
Plug your
the
shit.
thriving on thrift. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I've been working on this project. It's called Thriving on Thrift. You can check it out at www.thrivingonthrift.com. It's all about living on a budget. There's also a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a small YouTube channel, but mostly focusing on the Facebook and the Instagram right now. So check it out. Like it, follow it, share it. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's about it.
He still hasn't sent me the link yet. Anyway,
All right, I'll hook
but
you up.
but you guys out there, the To The Point family, you guys, much love, much respect. Thank you guys for enjoying us. So on behalf of myself and
Skip.
you guys know what to do. Click subscribe, click like, help us out, and we consider you To The Point family. So, you know what, guys? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and peace.
Peace.